Hey guys, it's Matt. One of the mantras of this channel is, of course, a real world is being slowly replaced by a fake world. Okay, the world never was that real. Let's not debate that now. You all know what I mean by that. It's a way of saying something. Whatever state it was in of real, perhaps maybe compared to what it once was 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever your beliefs are, it's whatever that standard of real is slowly being replaced by a world that's incrementally becoming more fake. So the way we put it, as simple as possible, is a real world is being slowly replaced by a fake world. It is the job of what we call not nilk creeps to bring this implementation into effect. That is their major role in this game at this particular time. They've had other roles in the past, but they have a lot of tools right now at their disposal to make the world exponentially faker than it ever was. I mean, I don't know what a quantum computer is. There's a lot of confusion about what tools they actually have. What is the magenta all over the place? The magenta paired with the emerald green. These are symptoms of a world sliding to the fake, which is also another way of saying their biggest tool, of course, is to bring it towards the digital, to remove the real, to remove the analog. One last time, I don't want to have a debate with anybody right now that would say, Matt, what you're calling the analog world or what existed in the 1990s wasn't very real. You yourself say the senses can only take in and absorb 1% of the information. 99% of the information in this universe is blocked from us because of our limited senses. What is taken in is then processed through a brain that carries a lifetime of bias. Okay, I hear you. You know, the music cassette tape in 95. You know, what am I actually listening to if I'm only getting 1%? It doesn't matter. All I can compare the real to is what I grew up in, what I was born into. There seems to be a lot of YouTube channels that look at the impossible architecture and the megalithic sites. Do they ever talk about the fact that the world itself, the reality, may have been different back in the day? I don't listen to these channels much anymore, but I've never heard anybody say anything like that. I'll entertain that. You know, I've got so frustrated with it, I throw out that maybe they've always existed. Matt, who built this and who built that? Nobody. And that's where I am. Okay, that's where I am. I've seen so many weird things in reality, so many Mandela effects. I'm not going to sit here and try to show you how some big block can be moved with a long lever of some kind. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's the weeds that it wants you in. But if they're going to throw out, hey, here's how this was all built, reality itself was different in many ways, in ways we can't even fathom. I mean, the easiest way to talk about that would be any child could pick up a large stone block. Gravity was different. Reality was different. Metaphysics were different. I'll keep that on the table. That to me is interesting. I might never jump on board, but I don't hear them talk about that. I don't understand why not. We're just going to assume reality was the same 180 years ago, 400 years ago, 4,000 years ago. Why? We've seen reality completely melt down before our eyes in one lifetime. I mean, give me a break. I do think if there's merit to this, it wouldn't be as drastic as what we're seeing now. The internet and the major tools that they have at their disposal, whatever CERN is, etc., it probably puts everything on steroids times 1,000,000 to the 10th exponential power, but it probably still happened over hundreds or thousands of years. It just probably was happening more slowly. Okay, as demonstrated here, there's 1,000,000 different permutations of this. Could just talk in circles endlessly for hours and hours. I need to stay on point here. Started with what everybody here believes, everybody here, you wouldn't be here, believes that in general, they're trying desperately to, you might phrase it a little bit different, trying to turn the analog into the digital. We're trying to get everybody to merge with the digital or to take the brain chip or whatever it may be. The best way I like to put it is just to simply make a world that was at a certain standard of real into a standard of fake. Just slide it down the scale, a few rungs towards the fake. One of the ways they're able to get away with this, in my opinion, is because if you interview the guy or gal on the street, they just simply don't believe this is possible. The world is the world. There will never be a change to the metaphysics of the world. Gravity's gravity. There is no such possibility as moving an entire reality, at least one rung down towards the fake. They won't even entertain it for a second. That makes it very easy to get away with. So close to 1 week ago, I'm lying in bed, terrible pain, and there was fever. And when there's a certain degree of fever, you have those weird hallucinatory type dreams. And it just hit me. Okay, I'm saying, I don't know where it came from. And then, okay, they want to move the real world incrementally down towards the fake. And something kind of yelled out at me, no, that's not right. The fake is already here. The fake is completely already here. The world that they want is already here. It's just people have to adopt it. They have to incrementally adopt it for themselves. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's hard to talk about. If you just say the way I used to put it, the real world is slowly being replaced by a fake one, it assumes, everything is out there and none of us have any control over it. And it's like the weather, for example. A sunny day is slowly being replaced by a rainy day. Rain comes incrementally. We're standing out in it. We don't control it. It's just happening around us. This concept is a little bit different or much different. Putting it this way, the rainy day is already around us. It's just up to us to adopt it, to kind of take one step forward into the rainy day. Now, in the end of the day, somebody might be screaming at me and saying, Matt, it's really not a lot different. It seems tremendously different because it again puts the onus on us, the control on us. And I don't know why it was so impactful. I'm just saying when it hit me in this fever, I'm not expressing it properly, but I was like, wow, that's it. This is very hard to talk about and express, so I have to keep going back to the absolute basics. Almost everybody here listening to this believes to one degree or another, we carry our own reality. Now, again, the Eagles won the Super Bowl and everybody's reality. The person on the street believes every aspect of everything is shared equally and exactly amongst us. People here are much more open, of course. People here would tend to say it certainly seems like every single aspect and facet is shared in our realities amongst anybody, our friends, our brother, our sister, our cousin, people at this channel, people we bump into on the street. We share the exact same things. It seems that way, of course, but that's part of the trick of this reality. Again, most people here, if you're new, would believe that we carry, in many respects, our own realities, and they're far different than what it seems. A trick of this reality is no, everything in this universe is shared equally amongst all of us. So there's a sliding scale. On one end of the spectrum is what somebody you interview on the street would say, and then you have somebody like Frank completely on the other end of the scale. Frank says, I create everything. It's my reality. He's the Humpty Dumpty of his reality. The person on the street, if they were adept at arguing with us about this, you'd say, is all the elements in the universe and are all of our realities shared? And we could go on to explain to the person on the street that we're interviewing what we mean by that. And if they were, let's say you got some ambulance chasing attorney that was pretty good crafting an argument, they would say things back like, well, okay, I got an apple right here in my briefcase, genius. Oh, you're one of those conspiracy assholes. If I hold this apple up, is there anybody that's going to walk by, if I stand out here 1,000 years, that's going to say it's not red? Well, assuming, don't give me your bullshit, like there's somebody colorblind, don't give me your conspiracy bullshit. Everybody's going to say it's red. Then he'd come up with another example. If we take 5 steps over to this fountain out here before the courthouse in Philly, by the way, I'm late. My client was rear-ended and they had a stiff neck. We're trying to get $800,000 out of the old lady that did it. So I just have a minute. If I step into this fountain here, is there anybody, thousands of years we could do this experiment, that would say, no, I'm not going to get wet in my reality? See, it's all the same. You've wasted my time. I got a trial to get to, you son of a beach. And that is the trick of this reality. Sure, if you line up one experiment at a time, ask everybody what color it is or who won the Super Bowl or who had a birthing ritual at the at the Grammys 12 years ago. Beyonce, she's the one that had the birthing ritual. Everybody's going to say the same thing. Therefore, the logical conclusion is every single element in the entire universe is equally shared amongst us. No, I'm sorry. Now, we may disagree as to how far this goes, but we know that is not the case. The fact that it seems overwhelmingly so that everything is equally shared is one of the main tricks of the reality itself. So, rule of opposites, and getting back to the main point. Rule of opposites, never been broken. It seems like all of the realities around us, we have no say on any of the individual elements, well, it's likely not the opposite of that maybe, but a lot different from what it seems. It's a sunny day. The rainy day is all around us. Okay, that the fake world is already here. We each hold a piece of the jigsaw puzzle. That fake world can't come in to fruition, whatever that means, until everybody puts down their own piece of the jigsaw puzzle. It's not something out there that happens to us. Maybe it's not a whole lot of difference. I just don't like the way I was phrasing it or putting it. A real world is being slowly replaced by a fake world. Kind of seems we're standing out in a field. And as we just stand out here and look around, look what they're doing. They're replacing a real world as we look around standing in this field or on the baseball diamond. They're replacing a real world with a fake world. They're doing it to us, and we can't do anything about it. It's already here. What they want is already here. The rainy day, the pouring rain is all around. We're in the sunny day. It can't be bridged without each person, almost like acceptance or acknowledgement, at least each real being, placing their jigsaw piece down on the table to help bring a little bit more of that picture into clarity. And okay, I've got a puzzle piece here that my essential puzzle piece is part of how this reality works. I'm going to put the puzzle piece down. As soon as they put it in place, maybe they're tricked into doing it, maybe they're squarely affixed in the middle of the ship of fools. All of a sudden, where'd all this rain come from? Where'd all this rain come from? So maybe it's not that drastic of a difference, and I'll probably still keep phrasing it the same way. I just wanted to clarify a bit. The epiphany that hit me when I was in the fever was, no, it's not like slowly happening around us and we're just victims. It's already here, but it would never get here if we're the bridge, we're that last piece. If we didn't agree to it, it might be all around, but the sunny day would continue. It doesn't matter if they have the rainy day ready to go. If we don't put that puzzle piece down, and then if everybody in society, of course, except our little group, puts their puzzle pieces down, well, what happens? The image from the jigsaw puzzle forms. And the new reality's here. The fake world is here. The rainy day is here. Did that make any sense? And much of this also relates to our ship of fools examples. All the things that we notice off the ship of fools cannot be seen if you're squarely affixed in the middle of the ship of fools. With the number one symptom, in my opinion, of a slide towards a fake world is the magenta. If you were to ask people firmly affixed on the ship of fools, do you see this magenta popping up all over the place? They wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about. They might cite things like, oh, remember it was a Pantene shampoo's color of the year 2 or 3 years ago, and because it was color of the year and it's T-Mobile's color, we've seen it maybe a little bit more, Matt, but see, things come and go. There's things, Matt, called trends. There were bell-bottom jeans too, and they go in and out, but they wouldn't, in terms of this endless presentation of the magenta pairing with the emerald green, of course, they simply wouldn't see it. So what do? What can we do? Well, it's good to know that it can't happen to you completely, at least. Whatever's happening around us, we are not complete victims of it as long as we remember this metaphor of we each hold the jigsaw puzzle piece. And we look down at the table. You've seen parties or whatever, people doing jigsaw puzzles. But what kind of party you go to where they're doing huge jigsaw puzzles on a table? That's lame. I don't know. I've been in a few places where they've had that. Maybe even over the course of a few days, people down the beach, trying to participate and add to the picture forming on the table. You hold a key. It's never going to completely form as long as you don't put your piece down next to what all the masses are doing, with your cousin, your brother, and your uncles, and your friends, and everybody wants to put their jigsaw puzzle piece, which the reality that picture cannot completely form without at least the real people, NPCs or whatever the other types of beings are here. We don't know how many of us there are real people. I'm tired of this stupid 144,000 number. Doesn't matter if there's 5 of us or 5 billion. Matt, don't you know population's overinflated? I don't care about that horse shit anymore. On a separate note, but still a hardcore midnight reality topic, to talk about some of these videos that keep popping up about timelines and convergence of timelines. I'm getting tired of it. I really am getting a little sick of it. Maybe I don't have an exact answer in reply, well, please allow me to retort. I don't have that. But it's not that. If gigantic channels with 1 million subscribers and Not Milk Shills are pushing certain themes, and the Marvel multiverse and Hollywood converging timelines and everything everywhere all at once in a bad movie and everything on a bagel and that horse shit. If Hollywood's pushing it and it's being pushed all over the place, I like my rule of opposites, then that's not it. There's not 80 billion little me's running around. We're going to converge with the other me's and all this stuff. That's not Tony's concept of simultaneous incarnations of higher self. Somebody sent me a video, which very much was along the lines of Stalled Century. To a degree, I like what they're saying, that there's never any major changes in culture, and we're stuck here and no good movies and music, and there's no real difference between the decades, like there are major league differences between the decades in the 60s and the 70s, in the 80s, not just in the music, in movies, but the look of the people. Okay, I like all that, but then they always give these explanations, or we're stuck in a time loop or convergence of timelines, and you know what? It's just all horse shit. Once again, I point out to you, we have 1% of the information via what comes in via our senses. Why do we have to figure it out? We're here to roll with the punches. We're here to have a low experience. We're here to see that it's a fluid reality. Things will change, especially if you're off the ship of fools. You could observe things are happening and why they're happening, why they don't seem normal to us if we've dived off the back of the ship of fools. Nevertheless, we are here to roll with the punches. That is part of this experience. It's not going to be figured out timelines. And this is just stop. Okay, whatever happens is going to happen. It's okay. It's by design. The reality, the biggest pet peeve in the world to me is the reality was hijacked by creeps, and this was unintended. I mean, it just blows my mind. Whoever designed the entire reality, your God, whatever it may be, your higher self. I mean, we're talking about beings. We're low beings here, and we're meant to be low. It's okay. Embrace the low. But we're talking about things, orders of magnitude that we can't even comprehend the cognitive ability, or I don't even know how to talk about it. So whoever designed the reality is going to let these creeps come in and make changes that were unintended? I mean, give me a break. I'm just so sick of it. They're role players here. Everything is by design. The reality is like a truck and tractor pull that's designed to wake as many people up as possible, to keep squeezing, get one more drop out of the washcloth. Roll with the punches. Overcome. Don't be so negative. What we need to do here is quite simple. It presents, it dangles its carrot of complexity. And so if you take its carrot of complexity, then you've lost. It's very simple what is going on here. Another thing I have in common with the Christians, at least their notion's very simple. For the most part, it's find Jesus. I like the simplicity of it. I really do. That's not typically the way things work here. Simple. I don't agree with it. Somebody came to a comment. I get a comment, almost every video. It was a few videos back. Matt, for what reason have you not thrown yourself before Jesus? What? I don't know who that is. Why would if you know Jesus, that's wonderful for you. I have no idea who that is. For what reason? I'm not going to throw myself before anything. Most especially when I have no idea what it is. So I'll close by talking about a scene from the movie Braveheart that really relates to how I view this reality at this time and probably will always view it. So with the father of Robert the Bruce, does he have leprosy or something, or syphilis, or, he's probably leprosy. He's up in the tower. Everybody thinks he's overseas, but he's up sick in that room. Oh, how is your father? Oh, his affairs in France keep him far too long. But he says, I speak for all the Bruces and for Scotland. I can do the accent if I hear it. That was pretty terrible. I apologize to all of Upper Scotland, especially Aberdeen, for that horrible accent. I can do it if I can hear it, but I sorry, Matt, just get on with it. So remember he says, there's been an uprising. Under who? A commoner named William Wallace. And he says, you wish to go charge off as he did. And he says, so would I. But he basically says, it's time to survive, he says, remember? Edward the Longshanks is the most ruthless king to ever sit on the throne of England. It's time to survive. The senior Robert the Bruce is saying, we might have to wait a few lifetimes because of who this ruthless thing is, Edward the Longshanks. I mean, we need to just be able to get out the other end, the Bruces, intact during this time period. It's time to survive. Edward the Longshanks is the most evil king in 1,000 years. This iteration of Not Milk, the spiritual adversary, is the most hardcore, nasty, pipe-hitting thing maybe that's ever existed. Worry about yourself also means make sure you are intact. It does get back to the old term of soul tokens and not giving yourself away to a degree. My goal is to get out of this life intact, if you understand what I'm saying, not to become a being of light. And that's basically my interpretation of right now, you and me here in this reality. I don't mean just to survive, get some food and water and get by day, but get through the other side, get out the other end intact, whole, without it stealing the essence away from us, which is the opposite of, I don't know, the boot at the gas pump people, they still talk about becoming a 4D being of light and all this happy, shiny stuff, horse shit all over YouTube, a being of light, and we need to, I saw videos not too long ago, there was a few months back, this is where we're going to transcend, or who knows what the hell they're talking about. What are they talking about? Transcend or ascend into what? You still go to the bathroom in the morning, right? This is a low experience. It's meant to be a low experience. If you never get out of it being a low experience, I don't think you've lost. You haven't failed. That's what the incarnation is. It's a hardcore, pipe-hitting, low experience. We are not going to become a being of light here or a monkey. Monkey love you. We're not going to do that here. And to the no consequences people, I've gotten away from using the term giving away soul tokens. But I'm going to play it safe. I see something here in front of me that's very nasty, that wants a lot of things from me. And it may not just be limited to my loosh or energy. It may be more than that. Since I'll never know, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to hold on actively per the Worry About Yourself activities, which is not just about holding on to the essence of who we are. It's about smelling the roses and overcoming fear, all the stuff we've talked about. That doesn't mean that if we just have to hold on, we then can abandon the Worry About Yourself activities and the part to the work. No. Okay, no. But that's not the purpose of this video. Not going to take any chances. Going to assume it maybe can get something from me. And I know I hold the most important piece, especially if I've dived off the back of the ship of fools. That jigsaw puzzle piece. All the masses are just so eager and dying to put their little jigsaw puzzle piece down so the image of the sick new reality can form. Maybe that's what magenta status means. Remember T-Mobile about a year ago tried to roll that horse shit out, try to get magenta status. It didn't go very far. That marketing was so poor, it kind of went away. You know what, T-Mobile? Magenta status up your ass. I'm not, maybe, but if you put your puzzle piece down on the table with the rest of the masses and help create the new sick reality, that's your magenta status up the ass. That's like the Hegelian dialectic with crushed ice. No, I think we've dived off the ship just in time, folks. Just-in-time system to save your soul. It's like the whole logistics class at Penn State. Just-in-time systems. Just-in-time system to save your soul. We got off just in time. We can come up out of the water and say, what the hell was going on up there? And we no longer participate in, oh my gosh, look, let me check my pockets. Let me check my back pocket. I still have my reality puzzle piece. Oh no. You got all you masses up there getting your drinks from Isaac. You're putting your puzzle pieces down and you're helping form the new sick reality. We've got some puzzle pieces here that will never lay down. In fact, we're keeping these for ourselves permanently. So guys, it was just a slight change to they're slowly replacing a real world with a fake world. I generally still will use that. It generally works. The world wasn't that real anyway, but it's just a way of saying something. Don't get too caught up with the semantics. But it's more than that. It's here. The fake world is here. It is all around us. But it's not something that happens to us. Having everybody hold their puzzle piece. And again, the masses are so easy to run up on that top deck and get their drink from Isaac on the ship of fools and put their puzzle piece down to help form that image of the new sick reality. It's kind of like everybody takes a little chisel to the slab of marble, and whatever is formed. The slab of marble, it can't happen on its own. Everybody agrees just to chisel the sculpture the way the Not Milk wants it. It can't do it on its own. And it can't, hopefully, if enough of us, take our chisels and go home, do not put our puzzle piece down onto the table, dive off the back of the ship of fools, however you want to put it, you would think if enough of us were doing what we're doing and just not participating, that its progress would stall. But unfortunately, we're just such a tiny group. I mean, the people that are firmly affixed on the ship of fools, that doesn't mean they're NPCs. Or most real people have fallen for every aspect of the trick. I think most people on the ship of fools, could be real spiritual beings, no different than you. It doesn't mean they're NPCs and all the real spirits have woken up. I think 1/2 of 1/2 of 1/2 of 1/2 of 1% of real spirits have woken up. The rest are falling for every bit of the trick. And those that believe they've woken up, the truth research community, are just falling for another aspect of the trick with their mud flood and their Tartari and everything else. Just another version of the trick. So, I mean, in terms of, do we even care about impeding progress when the reality is a truck and tractor pull wake-up mechanism anyway? Even if we could, we're too small of a group. We can control our own little reality bubbles, etc. But the ship is, the ship's going to sail where it's going to sail. And unless we have mass wake-up, which I don't believe is ever going to happen, I don't care if it happens. Worry about yourself. Worry about myself. I don't care. I'm not here to bring millions of people off the back of the ship. I don't give a crap. Let it do what it's going to do and laugh all the way and keep yourself intact. Thanks for listening.